The Controller Pile-Up, Episode 3, Nintendo Owns You. Okay, so here we are again, Controller Pile-Up. This is the show that talks about the random stuff that happens to be what's going on in our gaming lives, and for that matter, what we're playing, what we want to play, what we can't finish, and so on and so forth, and yada yada yada, amongst news topics and other things of that nature. So yeah, ReploidBill, William Bush.
Seth Lovell-Sario.
Scott Action Jackson.
Shane McCree, Proto Guy.
Hey guys, I know you're about to get your podcast on, so I'll be quick. If at any time you feel like dropping your own opinion into what we're talking about, head on over to fandomnight.com, and all of the contact information for every single one of our shows, including the one you're about to watch, is there. Alright guys, I'll leave you alone. Okay, so we're back, and I was an asshole.
You cut off Jeremy.
No, that's okay. I'm not here.
It's all right. Before we get going too far, though, everybody make sure you listen to the What's Up, because there's very important information and rules there now. So follow those rules or else.
Yeah, I don't think it was that big of a deal. We got that shit on lock.
Okay, yeah,
I know you guys are confused. Let me explain for the people that are in the room, seeing as how we haven't recorded the What's Up yet. Some of you guys may be getting the ban hammer if you're not, if you don't stop fucking about, because you shut down our website. So, yeah.
So we'll get to that later tonight, and you guys, I guess if you watch
That's why I
it in
said
order...
the What's Up is going to be a fucking 2-hour episode tonight.
Oh boy, now I can't wait. So anyways, the stuff happening in the world of gaming.
Yep.
What you got there, buddy? What is that?
I'll just check it on some fan mail.
Is that
This
about?
for Sentai.
That's for Sentai? Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so who's got topic one?
I guess I might want to throw it in.
You're fine.
The Marvel Superheroes Omega shutting down, along with the Marvel Superheroes game on PC.
Marvel Superheroes.
It's the same game. It's
Oh,
just
yeah,
the
yeah.
PS4, the 360, and the fucking PC version are all going
Yep.
bye-bye.
Yeah, that's because basically what really happened was Gazillion shut down.
Yep.
And they weren't releasing information to Marvel. They'd stopped updating. Marvel started asking, why are there no updates? There was no information, just silence. Like, gotta tell you shit. And they were like, okay, well, how about we're going to shut the game down? We're going to ask you to shut it down, because if you're not going to do anything with it, we're going to do our own thing. And sure enough...
Originally it was going to shut off sometime in December, but now yesterday was the last day.
Now, the reason for December was because Marvel was giving them time to shut it down, basically. They were like, get your shit together, shut this down. And they weren't like, today, motherfucker. They were like, get your shit together and shut it down. But then, all of a sudden, a week after the statement was released, Gazillion was like, we out.
Yep.
So what really happened was Gazillion shut down.
Yep.
And that meant the game was dead already. And you have to say this one thing. You have to say this about Marvel or Disney or whatever corporation is running down their backs. They noticed that the updates had stopped and they had a problem with it. I mean, really, that's something to say that they noticed. They were like, why? How come that game does nothing over there?
Well, with all their
Doesn't that tie into us? Doesn't that make us look like a piece of shit?
Well, with all of their movies,
Disney also, because everybody loves to hate Disney. I don't know why. It's kind of like the Nintendo thing. It's like a hipster thing to hate Disney. Disney also is the reason, and the only real reason. It wasn't gamers. Don't get your fucking panties in a bunch and act like you accomplished something. You didn't burn your fucking bras in front of the fucking White House and say no fucking microtransactions. Disney told EA, fucking fix it.
Yep.
And when Disney fucking took their mouse dick out, fucking EA said, whoa! Look, we'll get rid of it. We'll get rid of it. And then EA fucking let a slander come down on their social media where they basically said this: all these gamers are overreacting.
Yep.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did.
EA said, you fucking guys with your fucking privileged fucking gamers, you fucking That's literally what they did. They
And-
released a statement saying, this is your fault that this game is going to fucking suck now.
And
Maybe-
also governments are getting involved now.
Maybe
too.
I don't want to spend
that's
$110
different.
for a fucking game
That-
only to
well-
buy fucking loot boxes and shit to
Yeah.
get
Well-
good shit. Fuck you.
And here's the thing.
That's it.
Here's the thing. He is right, in a way. Governments are getting involved, but it's over
Because
a different aspect.
Because the loot box being more or less
Random.
in the gambling.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
are a couple countries that are way against gambling in general.
And Hawaii is definitely one of them.
Yeah, they're trying to shut down the idea of random, I pay you $20. Like, it's like a lottery ticket. The loot boxes are like lottery tickets.
Yeah.
You could get fucked every time you open one, or you could get something awesome that makes you better than everybody else on the server.
But because there's people under the age of 18, which at least here in our state, that's the legal age to go gambling and shit. But people under the age of fucking 18, they're buying these games. They're throwing down $20 for loot boxes, which means technically they're gambling.
Yes. Because there's no
And
guarantee.
it's illegal.
Yeah.
So, unless you make the game to where you have to be 18 to play, but nobody, how can you enforce that? Go by everybody's house?
There's one way they can enforce it. There's a legitimate
The
way.
exact same way they do it with fucking porno sites. Put in your credit card, watch all you want.
Yeah, it's kind of true. Like, and don't be surprised if gaming moves in this direction, where they'll start requiring an actual official ID
Yeah.
of some sort. Because sooner or later, with the way gaming is going and the way we're all interconnected through media and shit like that, sooner or later there's going to be a system in place where they say this is a mature game. Even if your mommy and daddy buy it for you, this is a mature game, and unless you put something that proves you're an adult, you can't even play it. And the reason I know this is going to happen is because, in a way, it's happening already.
So, my question is this now, because I'm a little confused. I know
You
about...
turn on Gundam to play it.
Okay.
You have to sign into a user agreement
Right.
just to turn the game on.
Correct.
If you say no, it shuts you down. Gamers are... okay. Quotes.
Quotations.
Gamers are okay with this. The reason I know they're okay with this is because if you guys weren't okay with this, you wouldn't buy the game.
Yep.
But everybody buys the game, and everybody pushes yes. Everybody wants to play the new Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z says, you will do exactly what we say, when we say, how we say, why we say. You did not buy this game. You are renting our intellectual property. Say yes.
Yep.
And you guys say yes. And that turns your game on and allows you to play. If you
Actually,
said
Bandai
no...
Namco are saying
Yes,
this.
yes.
Yes.
If you say no, the game shuts down.
Well, I'm a little confused. I mean, I understand the whole problem with EA because I was watching a YouTuber
Yes.
review Battlefront 2, and other than like the kind of rants we've had, I mean, like I've seen YouTubers like fucking freak out, but they were just like in a joking manner. This motherfucker was legitimately freaking out because he wanted to try out the loot system. He put in $40. Said, I got nothing but garbage. I'm basically wasting my money, my time. He fucking flipped out. I ain't never heard a motherfucker flip out like this in my life.
But that's legitimate.
Now,
here's
and I get it, but here's the thing,
now
like,
here's
there's
the
other
reverse
games
of
that do it.
Here's the reverse of that, though. Other games that do it. Let's talk about Injustice 2. Why is this different?
Because you don't technically have to.
You never have to put a penny into that
The thing
game.
about
Yeah.
Battlefront is if you want to get the better, because it's not just cosmetic stuff.
Yes.
It's actual
Now, I
legitimate.
will say
Yeah.
that Injustice is not just cosmetic stuff. You do get moves that make your guys
Right.
stronger,
Weapons.
and you do get weapons that change the fighting style and give you other
then
characters.
that's probably the
Yeah.
reason why nobody bitches about Overwatch, because Overwatch is legitimately cosmetic
But
or new.
when
Yeah.
Injustice 2 does it, they give that shit away like candy.
Yeah.
Like, I actually get annoyed. I'll beat 3 multiverses, and then at the end of the night, I'll go into the mother box thing, and it'll be like, boo, and bring up the brother eye and be like, you have to open these 80 loot boxes. And I'm like, oh my god!
From what I heard, okay, loot boxes don't bother me much because I was playing World War II,
Yes.
and it does have a loot box system. Now,
Oh,
before,
God.
you couldn't pay anything. They had no
now,
micro.
he sounds like he does have a problem.
There were no microtransactions when the game first started. If you wanted loot boxes, you had to earn them.
Okay.
Then, I think it was a week or two after the game launched, they added the microtransactions, and you want this. And basically, it's basically getting new calling cards or getting new skins for your guns to make them look cooler. It doesn't add any tactical advantage in the game. It just makes your gun look cooler. You don't have to do it.
So to expand on Scott's topic that he brought to us,
Okay,
because it kind of moved into the microtransactions discussion, I have an honest question.
go ahead.
Would you be okay if we did away with loot boxes and the nickel and dime bullshit, okay, but your game costs $30 more.
Well, I said that to you a while ago.
Because think about this. The way games made money was arcades brought the first tag of the money in, then they released it to the home consoles and things like that, and that was the second tag of money. And believe it or not, when you bought Mario on the Nintendo for $80 fucking dollars, think about how long ago that was and how much that actually was.
I would say yes, because I'm sick and tired of loot boxes being in every fucking thing.
So you would pay the extra money just to make sure the game is done, and they don't have to fucking nickel and dime you.
I have
I've seen a lot of games that have
two
that
major
option.
games that haven't had loot boxes until recently.
What was that?
Assassins,
Yes.
Assassin's Creed,
They added loot boxes.
WWE 2K.
Oh my god. Yes. The only way.
Here's the reason I'm not surprised
Isn't
about
that the only way you can
W2K,
unlock new wrestlers?
WWE, I'm sorry.
In the main, in your character's career mode, you have to get loot boxes to unlock extra moves.
Do you have to pay for them with money? Because if it's an
Yes, there
in-game
is-
if it's
there is the
in-game
option.
currency, it doesn't count. If it's actual real money that you're paying that you might not get,
There is an option to buy a lot of loot boxes, but you go through and get a 1 or 2 loot boxes.
okay. So as you play the game, it drops loot boxes to kind of entice you, and then if you want to put real money into the game, you get a lot more.
Yeah.
Then that counts as microtransactions.
Okay, because I'm going to be honest with you. I knew there were loot boxes, but I was just playing that game last night, and I did not even realize I could buy loot boxes. I know other games I know you can.
It's only for your created character's career mode. It's not for the main game itself.
If you want to technical, you could pay real money and get loot boxes in fucking Injustice 2, but why?
Yeah.
Like, why would you ever do that? Anybody that's paying real money into that game to get the loot boxes, you're fucking up. Because they give that shit away for free. I could go downstairs right now and turn the game on, and I'll get 9 of those motherfuckers for turning it on.
Actually, the sad thing is with Marvel Superheroes Omega running down, they are giving out loot boxes like a mofo now.
Which is kind of funny. They're like, hey, for these last couple days, fucking just have fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the game just got shut down.
Everything costs like 1 of everything.
Wow.
They're trying to get whatever they can out of the end of the day is what they were trying to do.
It makes sense. You guys literally went out of business trying to get money as much as you can to pay those bills.
Got to make that money.
Yeah.
Now!
Now, I got bills to pay.
See, but at the same time, I've also noticed that loot boxes only seem to be in multiplayer. I'm playing Wolfenstein. Guess what's not in Wolfenstein? I play Fallout. Guess what's not in Fallout? I play Agents of Mayhem. Guess what's not in Agents of Mayhem?
Skyrim.
I play Skyrim. I play Ark. I play a lot of single-player games. You know what those don't have? Loot boxes.
Because
Now, you know what I do play that does have a, quote, loot box system to it?
What's that?
Marvel Puzzle Quest. You know why? Because it's a free mobile game. How do they make their money? Give me $10, I'll give you some coins. You can either add to your roster or buy some cards. Have
And
fun.
every free game. The only reason I don't shit on
which
free
that
games,
I don't give a fuck about because it's free.
Only reason I don't shit on a free game is for one reason: they have to make their money.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no such thing
They
as free. If Nintendo made Mario every year and gave it out for free, the company would go under. You can't survive on free. It's not
So
fucking possible.
when they put one of those games on the network for free and you want to download it, they'll be like, "Well, what can I do?" Well, you can play You can play it like this if you
kind of
want.
like DCU is free,
It is free,
and then you start playing it, and then there are things that are really cool that you want,
that you can't do.
like Red Lantern powers.
like Red Lantern powers.
But if I want to play,
Or play past level 30.
But now to circle back to what he was saying in terms of paying.
No, you could
$30
move
more.
past level 30 because this guy basically played it for free for a long time.
Yeah, it's
he just didn't have all the super awesome,
Yeah, he didn't have the big inventory space and all the little quips that come with subscribing.
and he has no
Yeah.
water abilities, or he can't be a lantern.
Right.
Yeah.
But they do have an option that if you drop like $80 to $90, it's their ultimate experience.
I got the gold edition of Assassins. There's still loot boxes.
But what I'm telling you
Yeah,
is
but he's-
all those loot boxes, see, DCU charges you to open them.
Yes.
But if you flat out buy the ultimate version of the game, everything becomes unlocked. You can open anything, anytime. There are no restrictions.
And it's one drop. You just bomb that $80 on the game, and they're like, it's yours, play. We're done.
So
We're
you're
done here.
saying you would rather drop $80 to $90 on a single game
To have it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
versus some microtransactions, because let's be honest, I feel like microtransactions are actually a good idea. Reason being is watching you guys play video games. For me, an $80 to $90 drop would be great. I play a game for a very long time.
He's still playing Metal
You
Gear.
guys will play a game for, what, a few weeks before you move on to the next one?
Depends on what it is. I
Depends on
can
when it
can
is, if there's,
verify.
like, multiple games coming out.
You could end up dropping $20 on that game versus $90.
I can verify what he's saying and say that yes, there is such a problem as this, but I will say that it really my deal becomes this with gaming. As I game a lot, I come to find out that there's so much out there, and that if I spend a very, 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 very long time on one game, it starts to bore me. And
Which is why microtransactions would be better for you.
no, because like Final Fantasy 15, I put 150 plus hours in, and then I moved to the online component, and I have no desire whatsoever to pay into all the other stuff on the game, because I've got my fill. And this is something with games in general that I do. Like, my Injustice is over 100 hours. Like, depending on what game you're talking about, I put a lot of time into it. My Dead or Alive has a couple minutes on it.
When you pick up DOA, you already know you're going to put a lot of time into that.
Yes.
So it would make sense to pay the little bit of extra to get it all done.
Little?
When it comes to DOA, there's nothing little.
No, I agree.
That game is that could literally be
But
the
that
most
is not a-
expensive
that
game
is
you
not a
ever
game.
play.
I'll
That
break
is
that
not
down.
a game that you can drop $90 on and have everything unlocked.
I'll break that
they
down
don't have
for
that
you.
option.
Let me break that down for you, Shane. The game is $60 to open everything at the beginning.
Right.
Then $100 a season pass to get the DLC that has been released, plus the exclusive content that you can't nickel and dime. Because no matter how much you nickel and dime the costumes you want, if you don't have the season pass, you can't get the super suit. And some of those suits are amazing.
And depending on how many seasons.
Now, each
that you
season,
have
there
to
are
get
9.
to-
There are 9.
Currently.
Now, if you buy all 9 seasons, it's only $900.
Yeah, only.
So we're looking at like $960.
Literally,
That's nothing.
Literally the most expensive game you're going to play.
No.
No.
Here's a strange way I could justify DOA. It's going to be really weird, but I can literally justify it right now.
All right.
Let's say you buy the season passes.
Okay.
Let's say you play that game almost every day. It is your fighting game.
All right.
Compare that to the guy who is playing WoW.
Yep.
How much money a year does he bomb on the game?
Well, if you think about it, if you're not buying they have microtransactions too, but
Just subscribing.
just subscribe. It's $15 a month.
$15 a month.
15 every 3 months, I think?
$15 every 30
It's
No,
a
it's
days.
month.
15 per month.
1 month.
Okay.
$30.
So
30
think
days.
about that.
50 bucks.
It's
They
like
do have,
it's
they do have
40
scales.
Yeah, they do have scales.
You
So
can buy
think
a
about
time
that.
card for 30
So
for 2
think
months.
about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Think
Okay.
about that.
Yeah.
That's 15 times 12. That's what you pay to play WoW.
A year.
Now,
That's what I was paying for.
that
14.
means if you want to buy every single thing there is to buy in Dead or Alive per year, it costs you less than playing WoW.
Yep.
Yeah, especially with all the expansions.
Yeah, you're talking $180 a year
On
for
top of
WoW just for the
subscriptions.
subscription.
Just
Yep.
to subscribe.
Yeah, that's not including everything else you can do.
And Final Fantasy 15, same monster.
yes.
Same
Now-
monster. So you can see where you can
Wait, I think you mean 14.
yeah, sorry.
14's the online
It's
one.
rough. It's rough, but you can justify how you look at certain microtransactions. Now here's the thing, however. There's a difference between the microtransaction if I play this game all the time and these costumes are cool. Am I telling you to do the $900 drop? Hell fucking no, I'm
Here's
not
the-
telling you to do that. But what I am
Bill does it
telling
because
you...
he likes that game.
No, I don't. The reason I have so much stuff in Dead or Alive is because I buy a $20 card every paycheck. And if there's something I want, I get it for one of my games. And if I have $2 left over, I go to DOA and I buy 2 costumes. So I have like 80-something costumes. Because every 2 weeks, I have like $2, $3 on my account, and I'm like,
was it one?
I'm gonna get that.
Was it you that has the Gotchaman costume, or is that the guy from?
Gotcha.
Well, so I saw the screenshot.
No. That was, dude.
Was that
that was Casher and Sin.
That's what I saw. Okay, making sure. Okay, I saw that. I was like, what's going on here?
Yes, that's Cashern.
That's awesome.
Spencer bought it, and it cost 99 cents.
That's not bad.
If you just happen to have money left on your account for the sake of, and you want a cool costume, there's hundreds of them to pick from. Hundreds of them. So you could do that. But really, I am in the same field that you're talking about. I feel like if we increased the amount of money that it took to buy a game, in the long run, it would be better for everybody. It would help the industry escape this slump that they're in, where they're constantly trying to nickel and dime everybody to death.
The problem is, though, is that I brought that up to you a while ago, and I do agree with Scott that if I have to pay, well, a normal game is $60, you're paying more because transactions.
You're going to be paying more if you want to get the season pass anyway.
Right.
So.
If I had
even if you broke down just Final Fantasy 15, say you bought it. Not the way you did.
You don't want
not the $200 copy you did.
But
that's hilarious that you thought it was $200.
Let's break that down realistically, though. If you bought this game straight out,
almost $3.
What's it cost for the game?
$60 for the normal game.
Okay, then you've got to buy 3 episodes.
The season pass is $25.
Okay, that's $25. Does the season pass include the internet?
No.
So that's $20.
Actually, the season pass does include the multiplayer thing.
No, he's talking about actual internet connection to play the game.
Oh.
Which Comcast, if you're either talking about actual internet connection or you're talking about PlayStation Plus.
Because if you're going to do that online campaign, which is a part of the game, it happens it's a storyline that takes place 6 months after the actual storyline, and the reason I know this 100% confirmed is because it ruins the storyline of Final Fantasy 15 in the first 5 minutes.
That's why I haven't turned it on.
You turn it on, and in the first 5 minutes, this dude turns around and says, blah, blah, spoiler, blah, blah, spoil.
I thought you were really going to fuck me over. I'm like, bitch, I'm still playing that game. That's what I've been playing.
And it's because when I heard it, I was like, I'd have been so fucking pissed.
I've already... Blah, blah, blah. Kingsblade clip. Blah,
I'm
blah,
already a little pissed because I already know some things.
Oh, and you have to buy the movie. Because now the movie works as the cutscenes in the game, movie. So you have to have the movie. It is a part of the game.
Well,
and the anime.
I got all that with Michael.
So you have to have the anime, you have to have the movie, you have to have the game, you have to have the episodes.
You also got to get the actual game app too.
I don't think that's official in the story. And
yeah,
the reason I know that
the little pinball game.
Oh, you're talking about that pinball game that they have in the game? You can get it on your phone.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
I played it once.
But yes, so you have the movie, the anime, the game, the season pass, game too. And you have to have and the 8-bit game,
which I don't have
because the 8-bit game is the time.
Game.
It's
a explanation of what happens before.
It follows a younger King Regis.
It's the bedtime story that goes into the demo, is what that is. Because that's the bedtime story that you are told as a child that then you wake up in the demo and you play the demo and the demo leads into the actual game. Yes.
I played the entire demo.
Oh, and you had gotten both demos.
I played both demos.
So, after everything is said and done, demos cost nothing, the anime costs nothing, so you have to buy the movie, the game, the season pass, and an internet connection.
One of the demos you did have to buy the Final Fantasy Type 0.
That was to get episode... I can't say the name.
I remember downloading that demo. I downloaded the demo, then I downloaded the... I didn't have to buy.
You could later on, but it came packaged with
even still, it's still free. It's a demo. So the only thing you have to buy is the movie, the game, the season pass, and an internet connection to play the whole game. You have to have these 4 things to play the game.
Well, you're talking about internet connection, but you're also talking about PlayStation Plus, which is what you need.
Oh, fuck. And you have to have PlayStation Plus...
$60 there?
...to play it.
$25 for me. I do mine every 3 months.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's say that's
Unless you're thinking you're somehow magically going to knock this game out in an entire month.
So where are we now? You're at 60, then you're at
25.
25, then you're at another 25, correct?
How much is the movie? 20?
It
Yes.
could be 20 at this point.
It's 20.
So you have 60.
A Blu-ray, standard Blu-ray is about $24 brand new, and we're assuming you got this
and
game the
Blu-rays
day
are
it
going
came
down
out.
in price because of 4K movies.
We're assuming that you bought this movie the day it came
So
out.
60, 25, 20. PlayStation Plus, do you want to throw in mine?
Yes.
Okay, 25.
Let's say you just play the game straight through and end it
So
one quick
60
You're
run.
at 130.
So 60, 20, 25, 25. And what I pay for my internet?
Yeah.
86.
Okay. You
So
have
you're
to
at about
have that.
200 and something already.
It is literally a part of the game. If you don't have internet, you can't complete the online. The online finishes the storyline of Final Fantasy 15. You have to have it. It is a part of the expense that you will need to play the game.
Son of a bitch, have I spent so much money on this damn
Use it
game.
$216. That's what the game actually costs.
Okay, then actually costs. I don't want to talk about what I.
In the long
Actually
run,
paid.
in the long
Yeah.
run, when everything is said and done, that's what the game actually costs. It's $216.
Well,
now,
Except for Shane, who bought the $300 version of the game.
to be fair, he also got a statue and different shit like that.
Yeah.
Which the statue alone is $130.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, but
That's why I said it was a $200 version, because I wasn't counting that statue.
And the additional
Oh, okay.
add-on details that you can get for 99 cents each.
I haven't got any of. Okay, a lot of that stuff I did get, but there's a lot of 99-cent things. I counted. There's only a handful left that I don't have. That I don't really care about.
so this is what games really cost. I mean, if you want to piddle around and shit like that, yeah. So would you rather do the microtransaction and play half of that game? Because that's the truth of it. You would play half of the
I'd
game.
rather just drop the one-time amount because I think that's easier. I'd rather just drop the whole thing amount and then I get the entirety of the game, and then I put that down and I play the entirety of the game for what I paid.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these games like nowadays are coming with the season pass, and they're costing you $100. Assassin's Creed cost me $110 for the gold edition.
Yeah.
I got everything the game. I didn't buy that $800 one because I'm not that fucking retarded. I mean, I was retarded enough to spend $300 on a game. I'm not going another $500 more.
Okay.
I'm not that big of a fucking fan. Damn.
But yeah,
But-
this is the
Well,
reality.
I think that's also because last time you bought their game, you literally beat the game while it was broken.
Oh yeah. Unity was missing nearly 20 gigs of an update file.
Yeah.
20 gigs of a game missing. That's why it was so broken. I beat that motherfucker. I sat there. I was like, I went through the map, load up the game, because I did that. I played the online mode, and I was fucking chasing this dude, and I jumped down on this little shop, like the little umbrella things they have, and I went through the fucking map, and I was like, well, I can't get out. Reset the game. Let's try this again. So many problems, but I beat it
Yeah.
because I had nothing else to play at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
So I beat that shitty
so
game.
because you beat that last one that was shitty and broken, you were like, I'm not about to pay $800 for a game that's missing 80 gigs worth of game.
The reason why I spent the money on this one is because the developers of Black Flags, which one is one of my favorites, did this one. That game had very few bugs that I can remember. So I'm thinking maybe this one will. Now, does this game have bugs? Of course. Are they game breaking?
Not as bad.
No game
Not
breaking.
as bad as Unity.
Really, I feel like if we change the industry and every game cost relatively $100, it'd be rough. But at $100 a game,
It will definitely weed out the ones who actually are into the games, and those who are just getting it for the spur of the moment.
it would also help a little bit like that too. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think that man.
I think sales would go down.
It's going to take a lot of the kids who like the game.
At first it would.
Yeah,
and
at
he's
first
right.
it would.
At first it would. But gaming survived. See, people forget this, man. They really do. It kind of blows my mind, but people don't remember. Your Nintendo games were expensive.
Yep.
I had an old poster with Mario 3 on it. Mario 3 is fucking coming out, It was a big, exciting poster, and it had a price tag at the bottom of the poster said $89.99. That's one game for your Nintendo.
But think about
how long ago it cost $89 to get one game.
Which you said Mario 3?
Yes.
Okay, that came out in very early 90s. So getting close to 30 years ago.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're not there yet, but we're getting almost 30 years ago when those games were. But here's the thing: we had the discussion on the Fandom Night webpage on the group page about just how much it really did cost to buy a VHS. My dad confirmed it 100%. He said when I bought my VHS player, it cost me $400. And the first movie I bought was The Color of Money. It was a $98 movie.
I remember when VHS players and recorders were over $100.
What's a VHS?
No, don't
it's
be real.
It's
no,
this
I'm
thing
being,
that my dad used to have two of, so that way then when he'd go to the movie theater, or not the movie theater, when he'd go to the movie rental store, he could be like, okay, here's this movie, here's a blank cassette, button. Okay, now I never have to rent that movie again.
But this is real. This is what the things cost, and they sold.
Well,
the industry thrived. If it wouldn't have thrived, we wouldn't be where we are right now.
But the thing about that is, like you said, $90. I buy that game. I put that game in my Nintendo. No microtransactions. No season passes. Those things never existed back then. Mm-hmm. You just played that game out. Here's the only bad thing. Because we had a lack of that thing we call the internet, if I spent $90 and put that game in, I'm like, let's do this.
And it was straight up ass.
That was a fucking waste of my money. Yeah. Nowadays, I can research. Is this game good? Is it worth my time? That's the only. But
you kind of had that before, though, in the magazines.
Nintendo Power.
Those were bullshit.
Yeah, those were all
Nintendo
bullshit.
Power gave Fester's Quest a 10 out of 10.
Well, not just Nintendo
Technically
Power.
speaking,
to be fair, you think Nintendo's going to say anything bad about their games?
Exactly.
Even then, it didn't matter. Those gaming magazines were paid to give you bullshit to sell the fucking game.
I remember reading those books.
If you wanted to review a game, here's what you did. You took $10, you went down to Blockbuster, and you said, let me borrow this game for 2 days. And after 2 days, if you liked it, go buy the motherfucker. If you didn't like it, oh well.
Yeah, but as an actual reviewer, the company had you at their mercy. And all those gaming magazines back then, they weren't independent. They were produced by the actual game corporations.
Yep.
So they were sales figures.
According to an inflation calculator I just used, in the 1980s, $90 equaled out to about $230.
Yeah,
right.
Today's money.
And I had Mario 3.
Yep. So
I had it when it came out. My dad bought it, to be fair. But, I mean, think about that. People bought games back then. Now, the renters market was big.
Yeah.
And there was a reason for that. Because people bought games. And sometimes they would spend $80 or something on a game, and they would come home, and they accidentally bought the Karate Kid, and it was awful. And they were like, that fucking kid can rent the next game.
Yep.
And every year, gaming has gotten cheaper. But here's the craziness of it. Gaming got cheaper for us, did not get cheaper for them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Games are costing an outrageous amount of money to produce.
The sales on the games are happening more, too.
Right, but that's what I'm getting at, is that the microtransactions they're sadly a necessary evil. Either the prices have to go way up, or they have to make money. Because you're talking about a time when, in Mario 3, those guys made that $80 off that one game. Okay, that one game. They sold millions of copies, and they had the arcade that was pulling money in by the day.
Oh, yeah, they had it in the arcade as well.
Now the arcade is dead for the American market. Okay, the arcade is dead. Games cost nothing. $40?
Sometimes
I don't know.
30.
I kind of look at the arcade as a
Yeah,
bad
sometimes
rash
it's like 30
nowadays.
to $20, depending on
Sometimes
the
it'll
game.
pop up and then it'll disappear a week or two later.
Right, but what I'm saying is where do you make the money? Now games literally cost nearly 20 times what they used to cost to make.
Yep.
And that's in multiple ways. That's not just the way that they have to make the game. Street Fighter 2 was created by Final Fantasy 4. Final Fantasy 4. One of the largest RPGs ever created, one of the biggest milestones of Final Fantasy.
Actual Final Fantasy 4?
Yes, actual Final Fantasy 4 had a 14-man team.
Yeah.
Think about that. 14 people made that game.
Wolfenstein was a one-man team to get it translated and coded properly in Europe, if memory serves correctly.
Now,
One dude.
what does it take to release Final Fantasy 15? Did you see the credits on that motherfucker?
It looked like a fucking movie.
Because it is.
Yep.
And so you look at what it costs to make a game and the resources it took to make a game back then when they got more money for doing it than today when they get less money for doing it, and it takes literally 20 times the manpower and money to make that game happen. So how do they make their money? Now there's no arcade, and you basically paid them pennies compared to what it took them to make it.
Well, no arcade here.
Yes.
They do make worldwide profits, but
Well, the ones in
This is a big
Japan, they have
chunk.
arcades and stuff,
Yeah.
but that's besides the
So where do you make the money? Either you have to come up with these damn gimmicks, which is what it is. There's
Season
microtransactions and season
Yep.
passes and DLC and all this crap. They have to do that to even break even.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. But how would we fix it aside from making games cost the $200 price tag? Because that's a lot of money to say, hey, I'm gonna get that new game tomorrow.
not to mention the losses they initially take when you get a console.
Yep.
Yeah, because consoles now, to buy a console, like, okay,
They're still around the $300 to $400 each.
well, let's say you buy the new Xbox One X or whatever,
Yeah.
the new
Xbox
one.
One X, yeah.
Okay, let's say you buy the new one. That's $500 system. The stuff in that system to build a PC of the same nature that did the same thing,
$1,500 to $2,000.
yeah. Now, that you have to understand, the Xbox is a PC.
Yep.
They're basically the same fucking monster now. They really, truly are. So if you take that concept, that means every time Microsoft sells an Xbox, they lose $1,000.
Yep.
They're not making money. Every time they sell a system, they lose money. It took the PlayStation 2, it took them 7 years to break even on the production of the PlayStation 2. That's when they started making money on consoles sold.
So way past when they slimmed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did that as a way to cut costs.
And that's
Yeah.
that's exact. Those slims, they aren't for your benefit. They're because, damn it, we are losing thousands of dollars per unit sold.
Oh,
We got to
well,
do
let's-
something.
Let's put some of this here new tech in there that makes it a little bit thinner. Okay, is it cheaper? Yeah.
I want
Fucking do it.
I want to say PS3 had one of the biggest hits
Yeah.
of all the consoles because they were putting a Blu-ray player in every console.
Yep.
Blu-ray players by themselves were what, $600?
Yep.
At the
Something
time,
about that, yeah.
when it was first coming out, they were legitimate. You probably had to drop at least $300 to get a low-end player. Yes.
Yeah.
Not to mention all the other hardware and software that went into the console.
Hell, looking back on it, this is going to sound ridiculous. It's almost laughable. But do you know one of the things that sold the Sega Saturn? It could play CDs.
Yep.
That seems so ridiculous today, but man, my first CD player.
Didn't the PlayStation 1 do that too?
Yeah, but Saturn was before the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the PlayStation came out because fucking Nintendo wanted to have a disc-based player, so they went and they fucking talked with Sony. And Sony said, yeah, sure. And then they found out Nintendo had talked to Sony and Philips and another third-party company. And they were like, oh, they were talking with Sega as well to be like, yeah, let's team up.
Well, yeah, what ended up happening was Sony had finished the PlayStation and offered it to Nintendo, and Nintendo was like, oh, we were actually already going with Philips. And so the president of Sony at the time, who was a man who he literally said out loud when they first started saying, hey, we should make stuff for the Super Nintendo, we should get into gaming. And he said, Sony is not a toy company.
Yep.
You want to make tech? That's fine. That's us. We don't sell toys here. That's what he said. He was a hard ass. Yep. And so the compromise was that Sony made the sound chips that went into the Super Nintendo. It's the reason that Super had higher quality sound than the Sega.
Yep.
That's really why. It was all thanks to Sony. So because Sony already had this going, and Sony didn't have to worry about being a toy company if they were making CD programs and stuff like that, they were like, yeah, we'll make that for you. And then you could sell the toys because we're not about that. They came back to the president and they said, well, Nintendo evidently went with Philips. And he said, after we made this, he said, so the whole time they were talking to us, they were talking with Philips, and we went through the trouble of making this fucking thing? And they were like, oh, basically, yeah. And he was like,
go fuck yourself. Fuck me, no, you suck this.
Fuck them. Sell it. Sell it ourselves. And he went nuts about it. He said, I want third party, I want aggressive marketing campaign, I want this, I want that, I want this. If we're doing it, my goal is to make sure that fucking thing goes under now. That's what he wanted.
He for a time, he almost succeeded, too.
Yeah.
Nintendo was on the way down.
Yeah. He started pulling pages out of the fucking Sega playbook.
Well,
we do what Nintendo don't. Blast processing.
He did something that today is considered one of the biggest marketing genius roles of its time. He didn't have to attack Nintendo or Sega. He said, fuck this back and forth bullshit. Talk directly to that person. And they said, well, what do we do here? And he says, those motherfuckers are toys. We're not a toy company. The platform sells to 19-year-olds.
Yep.
Not older, not younger. 19. Why was that age selected? Because the kids that are not 19 see cool games that 19-year-olds are playing and say, I want that shit. So now we've got that part of the market. And the older 30-year-old guy sees games that are really cool and sees the 19-year-olds that play it and thinks, man, sure was cool to be a kid. And you know what? He wants that shit too. And it's just adult enough that it keeps his attention, while just cartoony enough that it can pull them in like a fucking smoking moose. Smoking fucking camel. Okay? That's exactly what this was. We attacked the age of 19. And it was fucking brilliant.
Yeah. Well, wasn't it 19 to 21 or some shit was
nope.
the exact age
He said 19. Mm-hmm. That was his market plan. He put a big fucking 19 on the board and said, those people buy this system.
He put a big 19 and he said, if you ain't this, you suck. And everybody goes, well, I want to be that. Then get the fuck over here and buy my shit.
Kind of. And he was aggressive. They went after mass marketing campaigns. They talked to hundreds of fucking people. It was insanity.
Yep.
And they did actually have some good games when it first came out. So.
Oh, they had an insane level of support too. And you know why? You know why they had an insane level of support? Nintendo buried itself.
Yep.
Do you know what they did that cost them back in the Super Nintendo era? You know, have people say, oh, dude, Nintendo was the bomb. It had all this third-party support. No, it didn't. It did not. There was not a single person making the games for Nintendo and Super Nintendo that necessarily wanted to be there. You know what happened? There was one major platform, the Nintendo. You want to make for Nintendo? Do you want to do that, Shane?
Yeah, why not?
What do you got in mind? What game are you making?
I'm making an RPG.
Okay, yeah.
Centered around 3 characters.
All right, yeah.
And it's called Legend of Legaia.
Okay, that's pretty sweet.
Because that game came out on PlayStation, so I can still do that during the Nintendo era.
Nope, because you're in Nintendo right now.
Right.
So you're making Final Fantasy 1. Now that's good. That's good.
Okay. Final Fantasy 1.
In order to produce on my system, however, there's a couple stipulations, just so we can get it out of the way. You are signed into a contract with me. You can only produce games for Nintendo for the next 4 games.
So no multi-platform.
No.
Okay.
You're not allowed.
Okay.
Absolutely not. Next 4 games belong to us, guaranteed, big contract. Oh, you must buy your cartridges from us. You are not allowed to produce your own cartridges.
Okay.
They're expensive.
Yes, they are.
Chips and boards are also purchased through us. Oh, we have a very high standard, and you have to purchase through us. You're not allowed to make them yourself.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, we actually get a cut and verification of everything that you make.
How much of a cut?
Yes.
Ooh, you see.
Oh, no. I'm the only system here, buddy. All right, we'll go elsewhere. Thank you.
And then you go over to Sega.
Are you interested? Do you want to play on Nintendo?
Can I
no,
make?
because we're still on the NES.
Can I make it on a home computer?
Do you want to play?
Do you
no.
want this guaranteed money now?
Do you want it right now?
Or
Because I'm walking away. I'm at the door.
or do you want to risk getting
I'm
no's
turning the
from
fucking
the
door
other
handle.
company?
Okay.
I'm fucking Nintendo.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Good. Great. Shake hands. You're fucked.
Thank you.
Now, guess what? You have to make games all the way into Super Nintendo.
Okay.
You do. You're fucked into the next 4 fucking games that you produce. You buy all your fucking supplies from Nintendo. So, guess what? You're paying to make a game for Nintendo. You're paying Nintendo to make a game for Nintendo to sell a game on Nintendo.
Yep.
Now, after all your money goes to Nintendo, and then you start selling the game on Nintendo, Nintendo gets some of that money, and then finally you get your cut. Make that money.
Do I? No, I know your name's going to go on it, but do I get to put my company's name on it too? So
It'll be in the corner over here.
big letters.
I get this big seal over here in the right-hand corner.
Okay, but you guys are the publishers, but I'm the developer.
Yeah.
I need my.
You get that corner right there.
He also gets the top of the cart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I
And
have the other?
sides.
What about? No, see, the developer's name needs to be on there too.
It is. It's right
It
there in the
is.
tiny
It's right
corner.
there in the tiny corner.
You don't see the corner?
I see the corner, but how about another spot too?
What about it?
Okay, yeah, on
Multiple
the back.
spots, multiple spots.
It's
Yeah,
in
on
the
the
game
back.
somewhere.
It'll be in tiny font in the back.
Title screen.
Under the big giant logo Nintendo. That's on the top and the bottom of the warning.
Property of Nintendo.
Yeah.
Developed by
my shit.
so and so.
It's my shit. Fuck on you.
Yeah.
I understand
I mean,
your
as,
shit, but
as long as we don't
it's my
cover it
development
up
team.
underneath of the
So?
ESRB ratings.
I don't give a fuck about your team.
Do you know how to develop a game?
Yeah, I just did.
Which one?
I got 4 of them coming out right now. They're made by this fucking dumbass company called Squaresoft.
Oh, that's my company.
Oh, that's amazing.
Okay.
Slaves! Now look, this is real though. This
Yeah.
is how they did it. So all these different companies, because if you pay pay real close attention, look at games like Tengen. You know what those were? They were illegal. The same games that were made by Tengen were also being produced by the same company that made games on the Nintendo. So they would make a game like Pac-Man. Then, under Nintendo's nose, they stole, not an exaggeration, they stole the lockout codes for the Nintendo, reverse engineered them, built them into a new chip that they named something else,
Okay.
changed the cartridges to their own design, opened a subsidiary company called Tengen, and sold the same games under Nintendo's noses that Nintendo was selling.
And there were software companies doing that too. They would enter that contract, and so they'd get a hold of like a neighbor or something and be like, "Hey, you're going to be the owner of another business. Here's this game.
Yeah.
Name it something and sell it."
Yep.
Gee, what do you mean that looks an awful lot like Tetris? That's okay.
This was how sneaky they had to be.
Yeah.
Well, Sony
You're not getting
changed.
paid otherwise.
Sony changed it. Sony came in, saw these contracts, and said, "So you're pretty mad at Nintendo, huh?
Yeah.
You got that angry dick?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a slave.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
We got this new system over here.
What's it called?
It's called Rape Nintendo.
I like that.
Okay. Shaking hands?
Let's shake hands.
All right. Make games.
Cool. Wait. Am I a slave?
I
my
said
goal,
make games. Go
my
go
goal
make games.
here, my goal here is to rape Nintendo.
Oh, I'm all for it.
Okay,
I'll
okay.
take
business partners.
Shit, I'll take a cut to do
Yep.
that.
We're also going to go to their office in a Bandicoot suit and talk shit.
Can I be the one dressed up in the Bandicoot suit?
Sure you can.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's how they did that.
Yeah.
Sony came in at just the right time when all these guys were just exiting the contract where they would have to renew the contract with Nintendo to make games. And here comes Final Fantasy VII. And Final Fantasy VII was going to be under the same bullshit stipulation fuck you contract that forces them to stay on Nintendo with no Nevermind and no reach around. And they said, hey, what's that thing over there? What's that? You see that gray thing over there? And they were like, that there's a Sony PlayStation. And they said, oh,
It plays discs.
what's it do? And they said, it rapes Nintendo. And they were like, can I make games for it?
What game would you like to make? Well, I'm still working on Final Fantasy, and I'd like to make the next one. The
Oh, and
seventh
by the
one.
way, we also don't need you to censor a bunch of bullshit in your game. We just need to make sure Nintendo makes no money.
And you have a lot more storage room for your game on this mighty disc.
Yep.
Yeah. In which we don't care if you make fucking 15 of those bastards.
Just
foreshadowing.
make sure that when you go to save the game, make sure that it all fits on this like card.
Oh, so
It's
because it's
got
got
like a-
cartridge, it needs something to save on because it can't save on the disc.
Yeah, but don't worry about it. I mean, it's got like 16 megs on it.
We make those. It'll be fine.
Oh, right. I have so many visions, but how do you get the property from Final Fantasy away from Nintendo?
Dude, that would have been awesome
well,
for a 16
your
meg
contract
card
is just exiting.
Yeah,
on the
I know, right?
Like
PlayStation.
they got stuck.
You had
It wasn't
15 blocks.
It wasn't
Yeah,
it wasn't that they were in love with Nintendo. That wasn't what was going on. They made Final Fantasy 1 and they got roped.
There was
And they
no-
had to do 2, 3, and 4. And then by then they were on the Super Nintendo and that was the best hardware. And you had a couple of choices. Make your next game Final Fantasy 5 for Super Nintendo, which once again you would get roped.
Yep.
And you'd be screwed into Final Fantasy VI for the same system. In fact, Final Fantasy VII was in production for the Nintendo 64.
Yep.
Kind of why the graphics look the way they did.
But then
Yeah.
the contract phased out. And Sony was right over here saying, hey,
Literally,
blank sheet of paper over here.
literally, Sony
Yeah.
went up to SquareSoft, and they were like, "Guys, our contract ends in like 2 minutes." And they look outside, and there's a guy from Sony just standing in line, like,
He's holding up a blank sheet with a pen.
and they're like, "Who's that?" Like, that's a representative from Sony. They want us to sign with them. They got this new console, dude. I swear to God, they say it's going to rape Nintendo. Oh, it's over with. Sign them. Bring
Yeah.
them in. Bring them in. Bring them in.
That's how they got so many people. That's the reason the PlayStation signed so much third-party support.
Yeah.
And that's the reason Nintendo didn't. And it's also
That's
another
the reason why
reason.
Nintendo and Sony still fight about, or not Nintendo and Sony, why Nintendo and Square still sit around and argue and whine and bitch and piss and moan about Super Mario RPG. It was one of the last games that fucking SquareSoft made for them.
But nowadays-
and they were like, "Yeah, fuck on you."
But nowadays, something happened, and because there are still games that you can get, Final Fantasy games, for
Here's why.
Nintendo.
Here's why. Because the way that Sony did business, specifically to screw Nintendo, became a staple of the market. And what ended up kind of screwing them was they weren't like Nintendo and they weren't roping people, screwing them into these contracts. So what ends up happening is PlayStation 2 shows up, and here comes this Xbox thing sauntering on over. And they're like, hey, how's that PlayStation make all that money? I'm like, well, PlayStation has this contract and yada yada. And they were like, okay, can I see that real quick? Can I see that? And they put that on their scanner and they were like, brrr, and they just printed out a copy for themselves and they said, we want it too. And it says nowhere in this contract that you can't make this game for multiple systems. So like Final Fantasy VII on the PC and Final Fantasy VII on the PlayStation, like that happened. So it's not like you're pigeon-toed here. If you could maybe, I don't know, make that next game for us too, maybe like
and
that.
because Microsoft owned not only the Xbox but also the PC market,
Yep.
that's two markets for more money-making potential.
Yep.
So then, all of a sudden, these people that were making games, the programmers, were like, holy crap, wait a second. We can literally produce this game like 5 times and make money.
We couldn't do that at Nintendo.
And Nintendo was over there like, we still got this cool contract, guys.
Yeah.
Guys,
Hey,
we got, it's pretty cool over here.
can I see it?
We got yeah.
Let me see it. Let me
It
see it.
basically says, "Fuck you. We own everything, and you'll buy all your stuff from us, and it's really high quality."
Do you want to know
And
what I have?
Huh?
I have this really cool lighter. Watch this.
Oh, that's a dick move, man. That's,
Hey,
for
did you
years
get that
you were-
email we sent?
yeah.
It looked something like a bandicoot humping something that looked an awful lot like Donkey Kong.
No, but that's what happened.
Stop sending over that damn bandicoot.
It was all just it was the storm at the right time under the right conditions, and it just happened to be on the heels of Super Nintendo's contract that had been screwing developers.
But
Yep.
do you believe Nintendo felt like they had the right to do this with their developers because after the crash, they were the ones that basically
they claimed that the reason for the contract and everything was to save the market because when these contracts did not exist, people were just making them games,
And that's what
and it
happened.
was oversaturated to the point where
Yeah.
it crashed the industry.
In 83,
there was
we had
no
the crash in
quality
83.
standard. Sometimes you could buy a game, and it wasn't that the game sucked; it was that the game didn't work. Because they would buy these subpar chips that were garbage.
or they would give you 2 weeks to make a game. ET.
Well, yes, but like no, really, like you could make actually, just to reference it. You know why Game Gear is hard to find?
Because it was awesome.
No, they're broken.
Oh,
Yeah.
What happened to Game Gear was Game Gear, the company that was making Game Gear, Sega, they bought a massive fucking shipment of, I believe it was transistors,
Yep.
and they were all bad. Every fucking one of them.
Yeah, did they not have the means to test this stuff out before?
They put them into the Game Gears and shipped those motherfuckers. And the screens started going out.
Yep.
I do remember it was kind of difficult to see the screen when you play a Game Gear. But
No, because the screens were fucking lit. It was Nintendo's that didn't have lit screens. You basically had to go out and get attachments, like literally. For
Well,
my
yeah.
Game Boy Color, I had to get like a little light that you plugged
Yeah.
into the side where the fucking trade cable goes, and it fucking
never
spiraled
had-
up and like
But-
street lamped over.
But these transistors would last for about a year and they'd blow out. Sometimes they'd last for a month and they'd blow out and your game is done.
Yep.
The system was designed in a way that once the screen blew out, it was dead. You
Yep.
couldn't just pull the screen out and replace it. It was dead. Your options were done.
Yeah.
So your game was just garbage. In
Yeah.
fact, I have one.
Where's that?
Transistors went bad.
Oh, so it's dead.
It's just a neat little trophy thing now.
A neat little piece of history.
Kind of.
It's a talking piece.
They're really, really hard to find
I see
where they work.
one.
There were ones that went out that still work today, but they're very rare
I
because
did-
a lot of these went bad. And Nintendo claims that what was going on was that they were holding a quality standard. The reason you had to get your shit from them is because they guaranteed everything that came out of their company, so they knew that every game that went out the door was guaranteed for years to come.
That's the
not
reason
for
why.
weeks to
That's
come.
the reason why NES games still work if you have an NES console. They work better if you have a top loader, but if you have the front loader, they still
I
work.
understand that was the
Sometimes
seal
you got to flip
of
them
Nintendo.
upside down and everything turns orange, but
That was for the seal of Nintendo. Like basically, it was a seal of approval.
Yes.
No, didn't they put that stuff on their cartridge, not like their components too? Like if you
Yeah.
took a part
Yeah.
took a part of like an SNES cartridge
If
game,
you
Yeah.
if
And it
you
was
got
stamped?
anything from Nintendo, the stuff that they were bringing in, they were verifying it. It was a quality
so
standard.
they were actually testing it out, and
the
making sure it was good.
The Nintendo was built to last.
no.
And proof of that
they didn't
is
do it with
that
the Game Gear.
most of those Nintendos, you could still find Nintendos today that work, and they work just fine, like you bought them yesterday.
Shit,
You can
Bill
buy-
found one that was half broken, and all he had to do was take out a couple of screws and put some rubbing alcohol on a couple of things and dust it off a bit.
I found
You can buy a PlayStation 3 today, and it's fucking broken.
That's true.
Bill, I heard a little bit of rage there. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, just
Yeah.
making sure.
Yeah.
I still have my PS3.
Yeah.
Still works.
Nope.
But Bill still has his. Is it the third or the fourth?
Which
Nope.
One of them, Nick's got.
Yeah.
One Nick has. One went to the trash. One went to his place.
Did he fix it?
It's still sitting in a box.
It's in a box.
Oh, okay.
I know what's wrong with it, but I can't quite fix it. They did away with the power supplies that they used for the original models.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's all built into the board. Can't replace that.
No.
Well, you can if you take one of the newer models and place it into the older model, but then that kind of fucks everything up a bit.
Then why wouldn't you just use the newer model?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he just schooled you.
There are
Damn.
codes. There are
Well,
codes.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I suppose if the problem with the newer model just comes down to a matter of the eyes burned.
No,
Nope.
that's not. It's the power source.
No, I know it's the power source, but I mean,
But
like,
even
if
Blu-ray
you've got
drive?
if you've got a new model where it's got the eyes busted, and somebody's like, "Fuck this, it's trash," and you go, "I'll take
No.
that."
The drives were hard-coded to the motherboards that had codes that matched each other. You couldn't swap
That's
out that
right,
part.
son of a bitch.
So
Yeah,
unless you send it into them, you ain't fixing it.
yeah,
Good luck.
and good luck sending it in now when they're gonna be like, "Fuck is this hunk of shit?" Here's a coupon.
It's this hunk of shit.
Here's a coupon for a PS4. Just go fucking buy one.
They're like PS.
Fuck is this hunk of shit?
Because they got some new guy working, and he's like, guys, do you know what a PS3 is?
I actually thought about taking it to that Fix My Gadget and just giving it to them and being like, make this work.
They won't take it.
Yeah,
and if they
won't.
can't make it work,
Okay, here's
Whatever.
here's what happened when I did that to mine.
yeah.
Okay, I took it in, and they said, "Yeah, we don't do that anymore." And I said, "But I really, really want it." The dude, I heard the dude. The lady went around the corner and was talking to the engineer himself, and he was like, "Look, if he really wants to waste $150, take his money.
Take his money.
We are not going to guarantee shit." And she said, "We're not going to
love
guarantee our work." And I said, "I really want it." It ran for a month, then it died again.
He fucking said, if he really wants to waste, fucking take his money.
That
Fuck
sounds
him.
about right.
And then what did Jeremy do? I really, really want this.
No shit, man.
Then he got it back. He's like, we fixed it. 30 days later.
Looks like I got to take it back and drop another.
Nope.
You know
Looks
what?
like
Fuck
I
It's
it.
in a
did-
box now.
Looks like I did waste
Right next to
$150.
Yep.
I think I'm one of the only ones left in the group with an actual complete working one.
I
Considering,
want one.
considering the
It's not that
fact
they're-
that the
You got your
last
disk drive?
PlayStation
Everything-
I had
Yeah,
was
I
a
still got
fucking-
everything.
worked when I had it. So
I always forget about that.
Look,
I'm
the
so
last
sorry.
PlayStation I had before I got my PS4 was a fucking T1000 fucking PSP.
Well, I know
So
that
that says a lot about my
the only
PlayStation
one,
habits.
the one that Nick has, the only way it works is digital. You can't put any discs in; it won't work.
True.
Everything has to be digital.
It's not
But-
like it's going to much matter though if all this bullshit goes through though.
What?
The net neutrality shit. Some more nickel and diming.
You know, we'll see.
Let's put that on a different episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely. In fact, we're at an hour. So, random video gaming podcast of randomness. Hope you enjoyed it.
Bye bye.
Hey guys, did you like that podcast? If so, remember to check out fandomnight.com. At fandomnight.com, you can drop a line to this show, or you could check out other podcasts as well. We cover all kinds of topics, everything from comic books, wrestling, movies, TV shows, video games, animes, mangas. It's outrageous. We seem to have a podcast for just about everything, and you have access to it just by going over to fandomnight.com. So, check it out, guys. We're going to get out of here.